So I want to welcome you to this webinar from the Feed the Future Innovation Lab for Livestock Systems. Let's go ahead and advance to the next slide. This one is part 4 in our series of 5 webinars for Library Access for Success. And this one is being presented to you by our librarian at the University of Florida, Michelle Leonard. And she's going to take over in just a moment. But I also want to remind our viewers that there are 3 other webinars that have already been recorded and they're available on our website. So if you go to the website of the Feed the Future Innovation Lab for Livestock Systems, you look under events, you'll be able to see recordings of those first 3 webinars. And this one, number 4, is obviously also being recorded, will be shared, as will the one coming up in 2 weeks, which is the 5th and final webinar. And through this series of 5 webinars, you'll have excellent information about how to have success while searching for literature to support your livestock research. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and turn things over and turn around the camera to our librarian, Michelle. All right, let's begin.
Thank you. I'm Michelle Leonard, and I am a science librarian at the University of Florida at the Marston Science Library. And today I'm pleased to present how to organize, manage, and store your references and content using the Mendeley citation software system when you are researching in the Research for Life. Okay, so the session goals today, I want to get started with the review of the research project management lifecycle, just the basics. It's a fundamental concept of how to conduct research. And so if we're on the same page, you will be able to follow along with this seminar. Plus, it's a good refresher for those who have been conducting research for a long time, as well as perhaps graduate students or people who are new to research on how to properly conduct a research experiments and the steps you need to take for a successful project. We will also discuss the importance of citation management, and this is basically how to store your citations as you are conducting your literature searches, why it's important, and I will be using the demonstration of a product called Mendeley. They are integrated within the Research for Life. It's an Elsevier product. So we will go over step by step how to organize your citations and documents, how you can collaborate with your partner institutions within this grant, and other features of Mendeley. So I do want to say that there are several citation management systems available. This is not an endorsement of one product over another. This is just an easy way to show you how to use a citation management program within the Research for Life. While these may seem fundamental or basic, they are, but it's a very important skill to learn because it'll save you time and it'll be more efficient as you become researchers. So an overview of the research project management lifecycle, I have the basics, and it's a step-by-step, 8 steps. We could spend an entire session going over in depth every single concept within the project management lifecycle. But today, just so we're on the same page, I will go over just briefly what you need to know. You always start with developing an idea or search and discovery. Depending on which project management lifecycle you follow, it could have search and discovery first. And so these 2 ideas, I think, are interchangeable because you could read the literature of the science and know what's out there and come up with your own idea based on the literature reviews. Or you could have an idea and then go into the research and see if that concept has already been done. So either way, these are the first 2 steps. Then step 3, conducting research. So this is where the Research for Life databases come in handy. And I know my colleague Lenny and I have been presenting the first 3 sessions on how to use the Research for Life, how to become super searchers, find the literature you need for your project. And so this is where the conducting your research starts. This is also where you will incorporate your citation management. Then, along with the research, once you conduct your research, you're running experiments, you have your methodology down pat, you obtain the results. And this could be from your data, identifying the data, your results from the methodology, and then you go into your findings. So you write up your paper, you write up your report, you do your presentation, then comes the evaluation. So once you want to publish or submit a paper for a conference, you send it as an abstract or the paper to a journal, and then they evaluate it through the peer review process. Once then, your findings are published, hopefully, and there's an 8th step, which is the post-pub evaluation, where today transparency is key. So you have a lot of commentary. You can put your research, your data online for people to duplicate your results. You can have this collaborative spirit back and forth to make your research better. So this is what encompasses the basics of the research project management lifecycle. So moving forward, what is the importance of citation management tools? And as I said, there are a lot out there. But think about that for a second, why you need to organize your citations. Well, for one, it helps with the management so you can avoid research misconduct. So you don't want to be flagged for plagiarism or have questions of why you don't have some citations in your paper or in your bibliography. But once you store them all in the same place, it's very easy to keep track of everything. Also, when you are looking for a citation management tool, you need to think about the features and the functionality. So for example, here are a lot of research project management tools. So all these are competitors, and they work the same, but they have some of the different features and functionality. Some are just straight bibliographies that they create. Others have a social networking aspect or a collaborative aspect to them. So today I am going to focus on Mendeley. It's at the bottom left-hand corner. But one of the features and functionalities, no matter what citation management you use, is how can you access it? So if you're in the field, you're not going to obviously take your desktop computer. A laptop may be too cumbersome. So is there an ability to search on your mobile device? Also, how is the citation and content stored? How is it organized? Can you annotate documents? Meaning, can you go in and make your own notes? Can you mark up the articles that you want, save them so you can come back later and review your notes? What about sharing the reading list? So are you able to share your citations with your colleagues? And this is also important if you are writing a paper or you're doing a large group project where you have one aspect of the literature on one topic and your colleague has another topic, you can share your citations. Also, are you able to incorporate all the citations in your paper, whether in-text citations as well as creating a bibliography? And what citation styles do you use? Most of the big names, such as Mendeley, EndNote, RefWorks, Zotero, they have thousands of different citation styles. For every journal, there's a different citation style. The bigger products do cover that. Also, some of the citation software, they allow you to network with other scholars, and I will do a demo on Mendeley to show you how that is built in. So just for an example what Mendeley can do, even though it's a citation management software, the company likes to prefer that they are a social tool supporting researcher needs. So you can do research networking. You can add and look at data sets, which is very convenient. So if you want to upload your data sets, you can, but also if you want to see what other research has been done, you are able to view those type of data sets that are added. You can also check out funding if you're looking for a job. You can search careers as well as the reference manager. So to get started with Mendeley, it's free. There is an institutional subscription which gives you more features and functionalities. However, a free account is great. It also allows you to create groups, and so you can have share your research with the public. You can create your own groups, or you can have a private group. Mendeley is also accessible from any device, so it does allow for the online as well as the desktop, so Windows, Mac, and Linux, as well as the mobile for iOS and Android. So these are the different features of how they look. In order to use the citation manager within your Word documents, you need to download the Mendeley desktop. So here's the instructions for downloading Mendeley desktop for Windows and for Mac. It also allows you at this time to download the web importer, which I'll demonstrate later, and the citation plugin. So this is my account, and every time you log into Mendeley, and I suggest for the first time, if you're new to Mendeley, go ahead and read the online help guides. But once you log in, it'll tell you if the reference manager is installed, as well as the citation plugin for the software. And as you can see, it's a very easy user interface. It has all of the documents listed in the middle with authors, title, the year, the published, and when it was added. You can also filter by all of the authors that are within the papers. You can create your own folder, and you can sort by all documents, what's been recently added, what's been recently read. You can create your favorites, what needs review, and my publications. Up at the top, a sync feature is very good because say you're out in the field and you're on your mobile phone and you're adding citations. Once you log into your desktop, you can sync all of the citations. So it's always good once you add citations to just go ahead and sync to make sure everything is up to date. So again, some examples of Mendeley. If you want to look at a specific article, it'll appear on the right side. It tells you the content type, which is a journal article. You have the title of the article, the authors, and then you have the citation information. So the journal, the year, the volume, the pages, also the abstracts. You can select that the details are correct. And this is over here where you can annotate. You also see if you want to store the PDFs, you are able to do so on the left-hand side. So downloading the web importer, that allows you to import papers, web pages, and other documents directly into Mendeley. So you can drag and drop. It doesn't matter what browser you're using, or you can save the download. So it's very nice, very easy, very convenient. This is what the citation plugin looks like and all of the steps. So once you are starting to write your paper, and we'll do a demo later on, if you need to do an in-text citation, you can do your in-text citation and create the bibliography at the same time. So that means that your citations match up at the end. And this is an example. So I started writing. I wanted to cite somebody in text. I wanted to do another cite. I'm using APA style. And then it creates the bibliography for me. So the one thing you do have to remember, no matter what citation management software you're using, that you are going to have to edit or proofread the bibliographies just to make sure proper names are capitalized or countries or something of that sort, and see if it's correctly identified. So there's probably a little bit of editing that you need to do, but overall it's better than typing out every single citation. You will also find that once you install the Mendeley citation app, it will be housed under your reference tab in your Word documents. So I want to go out to the web now, and I want to show you a few of the other features that Mendeley offers. So this is my personal Mendeley account that I use for work, and you can see I've created my account, I've added my picture. So you can do feeds. So basically you can add people or topics. You can follow people on the social media aspect to see what they've published, what their research is. You can add it to your library, any type of new papers that come out. So it's a very interesting way to keep up with the current literature and also the experts in the field. The library feature is exactly what it shows. So it's just the library of your citations. And also here, it reminds you of uploading your documents. You can drag and drop, and also the web importer plugins and the online help guides, which are also very helpful. So it gives you some steps if you're not familiar with Mendeley. In your library, again, you have your favorites, your publications, what's been recently read, what's been added, and you can also create your own folders. So in each folder, you can add citations. With the suggest, these are people to follow. So you may have colleagues who are using Mendeley, or you can find a topic of your choice, and you can add people who are conducting research and follow them. Groups, so you can create a new group. So if you are conducting research with colleagues at a different institution, a different country on the same topic, you can create a group and share citations and network. Up here is where you'll find the data sets. So Jim, if you would maybe want to just type in sustainable agriculture or another topic. I can do that. Okay. And hit search. And so here, there's over 16,000 results for sustainable agriculture. So you are able to look at the documents, look at the data. And so it's a very nice way. You can also upload, create your first data set, and add new ones. So this is a great feature in Mendeley if you want to store your data set or upload files. So it's all in one place. Careers, they do allow you to upload your CV, to get job alerts, so you can see who is looking. They also offer some career advice and different type of news feeds. And funding sources. So if you are looking for funding opportunities, right beside the subject area, it lists how many grants or funding opportunities are available, or you can narrow your search. So as you can see, it's more than a citation management tool. That's one component of it, and it's a very important component, but it also has this networking, social aspect, as well as storing your data set. So it's a nice, robust tool for you to use. Okay.
I'll go back. On the
So that was a quick overview of the features of Mendeley, also the online or my personal account, the quick tutorial. So hopefully that gives you an idea of how robust Mendeley actually is. So let's get started with searching. And I want to show you a search on how to search for literature in Research for Life databases and add them to Mendeley. So I want to show you in two different databases. And so we'll kind of do together an example of the research project management lifecycle using Research for Life and Mendeley and how easy it is. So here I'm in Agora and I'm in the test account. I've conducted a search, let's say, on child nutrition and food security. So I already have my Mendeley web importer downloaded. And the citations you want to store, all you need to do, and we went over this feature in a previous episode, of when you want to store your citations, all you have to do is check the box, meaning that you want to save these citations, you like them, you can either read them for later, they're relevant for your literature, or you're just interested in the topic. Then, all you need to do is hit Save to Mendeley. Now, this is in the Scopus database. So, Elsevier, which is a partner for Research for Life, provides access to Scopus. Also, Elsevier owns Mendeley. So it's very easy to use, it's very streamlined, and Mendeley is prominent within Scopus. So when you click on the Mendeley, you will come up with this step of exporting documents, and you just click on Mendeley and you hit export. It also tells you how many documents, so you can keep track of what you are doing. And as with the previous screen, I just selected these two, hit Save to Mendeley. Here it is. I hit export. And that's it for Scopus. That is how easy it is to do. This is the different search engine, and we went over this in the previous session. Summon is a different search engine within Agora or any of the other Research for Life databases. Now, Summon is a competitor to Elsevier. So you can search for either or both. And what I want to show you here is, let me move this. When you are highlighting the articles or the chapters or the books that you want, you need to put them in your folder. So Summon does not have a Mendeley button per se under the More feature. So you need to save it to your folders. However, on your toolbar, once you have the Mendeley web importer downloaded, you will see this M sign for Mendeley, and it'll be single citation. So you can download the site, or you can mark the citations that you want. You can go into the record and you can also drag and drop into Mendeley, but sometimes it's easier just to streamline what titles you want. You can look at the details and check mark the citations you want, and as you can see, it says save here. So I've done it this way by saving into folders, opened up the M for Mendeley, and it's saved here as well. And so here are the citations that I saved from the Scopus and Summon searches. It gives me the authors, the title of the article, the year it was published, the journal it was published in, and when I added it. I can also at this time drag and drop to create a folder, or I can leave them as all documents. However, it's good to organize into folders, because if you have thousands of documents, sometimes it can be unwieldy when you're trying to import citations into a paper. Okay, so we've done our search in Research for Life, the amazing databases that provide a ton of literature for your research needs. We've imported several citations from both the Summon search as well as the Scopus. We've added them into Mendeley, and now it's time to write our paper. So we're completing the research project management lifecycle. Here is an example of, I am starting to write. I wanted to cite my first resource here by Raza et al. I'm using the APA style, and that's how I do an in-text citation. and then I can continue typing. So it's as easy as typing, click on Insert Citation, make sure I have the style I want. Once that is imported, I click Insert Bibliography. Let me move this up. And it creates the bibliography for me. So everything is streamlined. So this in-text citation matches the bibliography. And again, this is very important because when you submit a paper for publication or to a conference, having your citations line up is very important. It's very cumbersome to receive feedback on an article from a reviewer saying, you're missing 5 citations, where are they? Then you have to go back and do your search. So hopefully you're recognizing the importance of the citations. So this is as easy as it seems. And for the final thoughts, again, following the steps of the research project management lifecycle will help you understand and get a grasp on how to conduct good science, ethical research by developing an idea or searching and discovering and developing your idea, conducting your research using the Research for Life databases, importing the citations into Mendeley, obtaining your results, running your data, and also along the way you can, depending on how long of a research project, you're going to have to be updating your literature and your citations throughout this whole process. Reporting the findings, having it peer-reviewed or evaluated, publishing your findings, and again, perhaps a post-published evaluation. It's very important that when searching, to export the citations that are relevant. You can store, share, annotate your citations, and it will help you manage your research publishing process. So with that, for an exercise, I want you to please create a Mendeley account, download the reference manager, the web importer, as well as download the citation plugin. Once you have these steps completed, conduct searches in Summon. Conduct 2 or 3. This will be the trickiest because there's not you have to either import the citations into a folder or open up the Mendeley web importer and check the citations that you want added. Then you can easily add the citations to Mendeley. Then conduct a search in Scopus and add citations to Mendeley. Experiment with creating different types of folders. Open Word and add your in-text citations and create a bibliography. This way you'll see how easy the entire process is. I also invite you, when you do create a Mendeley account, to follow me on Mendeley. I would be very excited to follow your research and your publications, see what you're doing, as well as keeping up to date with your projects. With that, I would like to thank Mendeley, Sarah Kabani. She allowed me to use a few of her slides from Elsevier, and my colleague, Lenny Ryan. And right now, I'd like to open it up for questions. If you have any questions on how to download or install Mendeley, how to use it, how to do any research. So we have time left that we can use right now to go over anything that you have of research nature.
All right, great. Thank you, Michelle. I have a question, so I'll get things started, and then I encourage people watching that you type something into the chat box, and we can answer those questions as well. So what if I'm in the middle of my research, and I already have a lot of references that I want to use? Is it easy to add those? And if I decide to start using Mendeley, is it easy to add those in and can then move forward with the Mendeley system?
It is easy to do, especially if you've added the citations to the folder. So once you add the citations to the folder, then you can import it into Mendeley. So
there's an import function.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So you click on Save to Mendeley at that point, and then it'll automatically import. So you would have had to have saved those citations in the folder, or you can just quickly rerun your search and drag and drop the article or the citation into Mendeley.
Okay, looks like we have a question already. I have another one, but I'll wait with my second question. Let's see. We have a comment that saying thank you. It was very clear and resourceful, and I agree. It was.
Thank you.
So I'll go ahead and ask my other question, which is about Mendeley itself, because at the very beginning you said, this is not an endorsement of Mendeley, but is there a reason that at the University of Florida or other institutions like us that people might prefer to use Mendeley's system?
I think it's a personal preference, what people like, but also the features and functionality. So when you are choosing a citation manager, it's very important to identify who in your research group is using a citation manager, because you cannot share citations in different citation managers. So for example, if you, Jim, were using Mendeley and I was using another product, say Zotero, they're not compatible in that sense that I would send you my literature or citation storage from Zotero. I would have to import everything into Mendeley. So it's important to have the entire group be on the same citation manager, but also what features and functionalities do you want out of it. So for example, Mendeley, I showed you, allows for data sets. You can find funding, careers, you can follow people, do the whole social network for research. But this Wikipedia site that I have linked, if I could see that, the mouse here, I wanted to show you that there are so many different types of software. And here it tells you the developer, the versioning, because if they stopped updates, you may not want to really download that. It also tells you about the cost and then the notes. So this is important if your institution does not subscribe to an institutional account, but you have to use a free account. Now, even if your institution does not subscribe, there are very inexpensive ways for a research group to buy an institutional account or a research account. But all this will let you know. So here at the University of Florida, we use EndNote, we use New RefWorks, and Mendeley is very highly used on campus, even though we do not have an institutional subscription at this point. But a lot of research groups have bought into it. So here it talks about how much storage you have, paying an additional storage space, what's required. So it has desktop and web components. It runs on different platforms as well as mobile devices. So all of these different types of citation managers are available. So the big ones I would recommend, especially if you are collaborating, let's say internationally within a lot of research groups, to use the more robust features and functionalities of something like Mendeley. But if you have questions, say you are only a Mac group, then you would want to stay away from a PC only or vice versa.
It looks like we have a Q&A up at in the middle there, if you click on that. Sarier is asking, you think Mendeley is best for livestock research, or do you have any other preferences? So for people in the field of, say, international livestock research, is there an advantage to Mendeley, or could they also use other systems?
So interestingly enough, I chose Mendeley because one of our colleagues here,
like Becky, are doing their
yes,
research.
Yes, her name, Becky, had mentioned casually during our conversation that she used Mendeley. So I thought, oh, well, Mendeley is a great choice because it is a product by Elsevier. Elsevier does support Research for Life. They have their Scopus database as well as a lot of their journals online. So it's very easy to use and it's already integrated within Research for Life. There are other components that are integrated in Research for Life, and if I could get out to the web again, I can show you briefly some of the other options. It's a lot easier to choose a citation management that has the features and functionalities within the database. Otherwise, you get into uploading, downloading, importing, exporting. So when I was showing Summon, for example, so Scopus is right here that we did, but when I was showing Summon, and Jim, if you don't mind just typing in a search. So for example, we just typed in a search. So here, if I just wanted to quickly add, you'll notice that within Summon, RefWorks is at the top because Summon, their product is RefWorks. So you have your RefWorks account with Summon. Now, Elsevier in the Scopus database does have a button for RefWorks. You can use that. You have EasyBib, but that does not have all of the features that, say, Mendeley or EndNote or RefWorks has. You have your EndNote, your Zotero. So EndNote is proprietary. You do have to buy it, the same with RefWorks. But given that you have Summon, it may be freely available. I haven't explored that, but I'm happy to do so if you want to use RefWorks. You have Zotero, which is free, your BibTech, as well as Cite. I've never heard of that or used that before, so I really cannot speak to that. But so when you're in Summon, this is what you have. So that is why when I did my search, I saved this item in a folder. And if I was on my own computer and had my Mendeley web importer downloaded, you would see the M right at the top. I could open that and add the citation that way. So that's how you get around.
So it's integrated then.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's just integrated up in the right-hand corner as opposed to the record itself. Whereas with Scopus, go ahead and type in a search. As with Scopus itself, once you have your Mendeley exporter like I showed, it'll be right here in Mendeley, and then you can just export it directly into the citation, or you can open it up and drag and drop it. So that's why I showed you two different ways when you're using Summon or Scopus within Research for Life, because it's different steps, and that's based on their competitive products. And so they make it obviously easier for you to use their own developed products.
All right, let's see if we have any other questions. We'll just take a couple more minutes now. So we answered this question. All right, and let's check on the chat room just to make sure. All right, so we got some appreciation from the audience. And if you do have any more questions, please type it in now. I do want to mention that we will make this webinar available on the site, so there will be a recording that will be uploaded. And I encourage you also to go look at the previous recordings, because we talked about Scopus and some of these other resources that you may not be too familiar with, but if you go through the previous webinars, you will have instruction on how to use them and how to navigate those systems in the Research for Life databases that are really, really useful. And for most of our audiences abroad, it's a free resource. So and it's a really, really useful. So highly encourage you to look at our other webinars, and of course to join us in a couple weeks for the final one. All right, so I want to say that we have answered this one. Okay, that's done. All right, and let's go back to the presentation just to finish things up. I'm going to pull up our final slides. Okay, let me see, I need to do a new share here. Just give me a moment. Okay, so we want to say thank you again for your attention, and of course thank you to Michelle Leonard from the University of Florida for providing her expertise today. As a reminder, there will be a 5th webinar of this Library Access for Success series on the 28th of November. That's in 2 weeks. And the topic is Ethics in Research Publications. Why don't I turn around and say hello to the audience here. I'll move the camera down a little bit. There we go. Hi. We have another question here. So I just want to remind you to go ahead and register now for this 5th webinar. And if you have questions about anything today, please also take down our email address, livestock-lab@ufl.edu. And we'd be glad to answer those questions by email as well. So we do have a question here which asks us, we are able to access the PDF format of the previous presentations. Yes, you are able to, and actually this presentation today will also be made available as a PDF. So if you go into our website, here's our website here on the screen, and the events section is where you'll find access to these webinars and to the PDFs of the PowerPoint presentation. So yes, you can access both the video and the presentation. So you can have your choice there. So I think with that, we're going to wrap things up. So you said thank you, our viewer who asked the question, and we say thank you as well to you for paying attention. And I just want to remind you that this was presented by the Feed the Future Innovation Lab for Livestock Systems. And we welcome you to the 5th and final webinar in 2 weeks. We hope to see you then. And thank you again, Michelle and everyone, for participating today.